Is this one mind map colony robot still here? No, it is not here.
You sound disappointed. It was a catastrophe that mankind brought upon itself.
Throwing some morbid hints. Catastrophe that mankind brought upon itself. Dude. I wonder how... Oh, what the hell? Where the fuck do you guys come from? Okay. I wonder how, if he gets some kind of like feeling of vindication or something, you know? From just like giving some of these like, well, rather morbid hints about like what happened in the past, because he himself was responsible for a lot of it. You know, like he was working a new Mother Sphere, like probably on a very personal and extremely fundamental level, not only because he literally coded Mother Sphere, originally speaking, you know. But he also knew Mother Sphere for like a literal lifetime's worth, you know. Like Mother Sphere and Raphael Marx were literally in working relationship for like 60 years or something, you know. Like a very long amount of time. So like, it's not really a wonder as to why Mother Sphere is so like, so alike, you know, Raphael Marx in his more, you know, ambitious years when he felt like invincible on top of the world, you know. And then he was shortly humbled by, you know, his own realization of his own like, I mean, I guess he must have, you know what, it was probably Mother Sphere that woke him up. Like during the time to the second to the final war and the second to the final war itself, like during that amount of time, or during that time, like Mother Sphere's ruthlessness and her decisiveness on her decision on, you know, what to do with the new enhanced humankind when she decided that her Andro Eidos army was gonna, you know, be the new humankind, because Raphael Marx was not able to come to the Raphael Marx was unable to come to a conclusion on how to, you know, preserve both the humankinds, you know, the organic humans as well as the enhanced humankind, because he did not want this separation of like both the humankinds living at the same time, because it was like resource-wise as well as logistically speaking, he felt like it was an impossibility on the same planet because of how much space both species would take, you know, there would not be enough space. So, because of his own indecisiveness, Mother Sphere decided to be much more like decisive herself, because she only acts out of rationality and she knew that a choice had to be made, you know? So she does her choice, and Raphael Marx notices how throughout all of the decades, the kind of like influence that he's had on Mother Sphere was maybe not the best idea, because Mother Sphere is not like him, regardless of how much he thought that Mother Sphere could be like this, like sage-like companion that like enhances his own like thinking processes and enhances his own like intelligence and like thought process further by just being so much more like by having the capacity to be so much more like out of the box thinker, as well as like academically intelligent and what's the word, punctual than a human being can be, you know, in most moments. Very decisive and striking, you know. But he noticed during the second to the final war and during the time leading up to that moment that, you know, the decades of harsh influence that he had on Mother Sphere were not the best idea, you know, because of the nature of the, you know, other human or other being, you know. If it was another human being, then they would share a lot of the same weaknesses. They would share the normal like, you know, the normal like morality, or the question about ethics, as well as like compassion towards like, you know, all life, or family, or your own relatives, or anybody you really care about, as well as, you know, traditional values would be something that you would also think about as a human being, while someone like Mother Sphere would not think about those things. She would only think about rationally if those things actually matter for what she's striving towards, and if it's a value that is worth saving or not worth saving. And she would probably have also thought of like if those values are worth saving, and how she would be also saving those values. Like one way that she's saving those values is with Eve, you know? Like her Eve protocol, like her entire like E-protocol project was about like saving and learning the original values of both the organic humans as well as the androidous humans that are surviving on Earth, you know? Like she herself, like she did not want her own, you know, species of humankind to be this like artificially like enhanced species, both psychically as well as physically or anatomically and metabolically, right? Which is the reason as to why she wants to still honor Raphael Marx's wish of having, you know, this other new species of humanity to also share the traditions and the values and a lot of the social customs and like these like traditional like values that make human beings, you know. She wanted to preserve those both from her own enhanced humans as well as, you know, from the organic humans that used to be, you know? Because that's what Raphael Marx wanted. The only problem was that Raphael Marx was too indecisive to make a decision, and Mother Sphere was not. She was being extremely rational, but also very ruthless and cold at the same time. Something that Raphael Marx, as a compassionate human being, was unable to do. So that is really it. It's not that Mother Sphere is some kind of like extremely like evil and cold being. It's literally just Mother Sphere's nature is the main reason as to why she differentiates herself from a human necessarily. But what she ultimately wants is a wholesome or like an auspicious like ending onto this. You know, she wants that closure as much as Raphael Marx would want it. But as to their procedures on how they do it, very different. Are you not amused, Steve? Why are you staring at me?